All right, guys, this is Big Stitch. This is gonna be his first ride outside. Try to put y'all in my pocket, take you with me. Hope y'all can see. Here we go. Let's go, big boy. Now, again, we're just gonna walk. We're not gonna be in no hurry. We're just gonna walk. Kind of keep a hold of him in case we need to, right? There, good boy. And if he wants to look at stuff, that's fine. Again, I have to keep my nerves in order for him to keep his, right? If I get nervous and worried, he's really gonna get nervous and worried, right? So, again, I'm just asking him to walk. And this is part of it, right? I'm not into hurry, hurry, hurry. I'm into just slow down, chill out, and relax. Let's look at things, right? For the first ride. Now, as his rides progresses, we'll do a lot more. Just like with anything else, right? You gotta build that foundation. Once my foundation's built, then I can build my house and it'll stay there. I don't have to worry about it leaving, okay? That's the key. I gotta build my foundation. Start out with that little bitty piece of gravel of sand that blows together and helps me build that great old big mountain. And when I'm done, that mountain will be there all on its own, right? Again, I'm just watching and paying attention. I'm not gonna let him stop me. He wants to stop and look at something, we'll stop and look at it. He's a baby. We're gonna let him be a baby, right? So my goodness, that horse 15 hands weigh 1,200, and he probably will. But he's still a 2-year-old baby. I have to be person enough to ride him like he's a baby, okay? Now, he wanted to trot off. I picked his head up, told him, hey, I'd really rather you not do that, okay? Because that's how you get in a wreck. I want him to just walk off down this hill, okay? I really like this old big colt, but you'll find that a lot of times these colts that God's blessed them with size and structure early wind up being kind of the dominant colts in the bunch when you wean them off, and they learn to be pushy from day one. So I have to tell him all along through his first 30 rides, hey, you don't push. I don't push you, you don't push me, right? So there he's wanting to push. I let him know, hey, no, we ain't gonna do that. We could probably lope off without an issue. But there's no sense in pouring kerosene on a fire and giving an opportunity for a wreck. With that first ride to go slow and calm, cool, collected, and quiet, right? We're not in a hurry. We just want him to ride, right? Easy. And you'll find that a lot of these babies, they'll ride along there and do really good. And then all of a sudden they'll forget you're up there and they're just walking along. And you'll move or say something and they'll jump 40 foot. And it's just because he went to sleep and forgot you was even there, right? So again, that's just part of him being a baby. To me, that's what makes it fun. Try to watch his head, watch his ears, and try to figure out what's going through his brain. And right there, he won't stop to smell that manure. And I'm like, no, you're not a stud horse anyway. Don't worry about that manure, right? And again, while we're training, we're going to turn him here. We're not going to just let him keep walking where he wants to go. We're going to turn him round and round. Look at that colt turn over his front end. Hold his butt and turn his front end over himself. Roll over himself. That's pretty good. We like that. That way we're not just riding, we're teaching him something, right? Trying to keep his mind up here on us. That's the goal. Keep him up here on us. Let that colt just fall over himself. That's good. Now, he won't take off again. We got him again to that bridle. Said, no, we're just going to walk. We'll go fast when I tell you to. Okay? Some of that's play, some of that's baby, you know, but that's part of it. In my opinion, that's some of my favorite parts of it. Again, I hope this video is working out. Had to put the phone in my pocket. I need me somehow, some way, clipping it on the top of my hat, I guess, so y'all can kind of see my horse's head and kind of what all's going on in front of us. Now, you guys are correct, you older hands that think, man, if a covey of quail was to fly up right now, he'd catch a bus, and you're exactly right, he sure would, okay? If a deer was to jump up and run in front of him, he'd catch a bus. But that's part of it, guys. So he has to learn to ignore all that and go with me instead of against me. Okay? So when he wants to be silly like that right there, just want to stop, and where's all the girls and boys? I don't care where the girls and boys are. I need you to get up here, right? That's part of it. We don't need a colt out there where we're trying to hold the alleyway, trying to hold the position, keep cattle from breaking over, and him squealing and looking, where's the other horses? So we just kind of help him with that issue from the very beginning, right? Okay, that was good. Okay, that was good on his part. He's going to learn that that didn't do him any good. Get up here. Now, get up here. Now that little smack on the hiney was gentle to what it's going to be if he keeps this up. Okay? I'm telling him, behave, get up here. It's going to get western if you don't. He thinks the argument that we had in the pen yesterday was tough. Look at how big old pasture this is. I can round around this pasture all day long. He can't, right? So what I said by that, or what I meant by that, is if he keeps that up, I'll put him to jogging and loping around this pasture till he can't jog and lope no more. He'll be like, you know, I should have just kept walking like he told me to. I don't know why I want to be such a butthole, but I'd really rather not do him that way. I mean, he's still a baby, 2 years old. You get to pounding that ground on a baby, especially this big a pasture, you know, just 40 acres, but that's still enough in the rocks and up and down the hills and down through the mud and everything else. That's still enough if you're really pounding him hard, as big as he is, that you could hurt him. And we don't want to hurt him, we want to train him. There's a difference, right? So again, we're just going to try to ride him, keep him quiet. That's why we went up this hill, put him in positions that he says, hey, that's work. No kidding. And that's the whole point of it, right? Keeping him behave himself and thinking. And that said, this would be a good time to bring this discussion up. That's one of the reasons that I don't like a real high protein feed on a baby. I want it to be protein enough to keep him healthy, you know, 10%, 12%. I found you go to getting that high protein up there, that baby gets full of himself, and then he's so burnt up with energy, kind of like a racehorse. He's all play instead of no think, right? So we like these babies on a 10 or 12% feed, a high fat, and I like just a good prairie hay, a good solid Bermuda grass hay. I've found you go to really laying the alfalfa and really laying the protein to them. Like I said, you can really get your colts, especially your ranch colts. You can get them kind of high and I call it kind of goofy acting, right? And actually cause them to hurt themselves while you're training. I mean, it not only makes it harder on you to teach them, but with all that energy, they get to jumping and farting and going and running and here and there and yada, yada, yada. Next thing you know, that colt's crippled because he's pounding them little old 2-year-old legs with a big old body like this colt's got, and all worked up on go and no place to get rid of all that energy. So, like I said, for me in my deal, I like a lower protein feed, higher fat. I don't want my horses high. I want them to have plenty of energy to want to go to work. And I've found that a 10 or 12% protein sustains that. That's feeding twice a day. That's feeding once of a morning grain and once of a morning night. Okay, that's just about perfect. And I try to keep that good Bermuda grass hay in front of them as much as I can. So that does affect the way a horse learns and takes training. Now there he's wanting to booger at that stump over there, which is just his excuse to say, hey, I want to go back to the barn. This colt, in all actuality, I don't think this colt's scared of anything. He's using that for an excuse. Now, if he didn't always show to be a more of a dominant kind of horse, I'd say he was scared. But he's got that dominant demeanor. This colt's not scared. He just wanting to use it for an excuse. Look at that front end walk around. We like that. Yeah, that's good stuff. Now, what he'll find is the more he keeps that up, the more we'll go up and down that hill, and the more that'll take all that energy play out of him, right? I don't need energy play. I need think and learn. Agreed? And there he goes again. We're just going, hey, no, we want you to walk, right? Everything we do builds a foundation for what we want this colt to be. And if he keeps that squealing, nickering up junk, not wanting to listen to us, we're going to start turning him around and around and around tight and bumping him with that bridle till him shut his mouth. Okay? We'll tolerate some of that, but just like any daddy would, there comes a time where that kid, that little boy, little girl, or any daddy that's got any sense is going to say, hey, that's enough, knock it off. And daddy's not going to start out being mean. He's going to just start out giving corrections. You know, maybe spat that hand, spat that little butt, you know, raising them kids kind of deal. And then that little correction just gets worse and worse and worse as daddy says don't do that, as that child keeps on. Our horses are the same way. Exact same deal. If you'll train a horse that way with that kind of mentality, you'll get to the point where you'll have a really nice horse that you can count on and do anything in the world with. When you ask him, he'll be there. If you let him get away with all that murder, he'll be just like a little teenage brat, back talking and running his head and a pain in the butt at a teenager because you didn't correct it when he was a little fella, right? Now again, I'm not talking about just beating the stuffing out of him. I'd never beat a kid. But he wanted to use that limb deal for an excuse to trot off, so we're going to go right back through that limb deal, okay? We're going to say, hey, that's not no big deal. Get up here, okay? That's just a limb. Get up here. And what did we say about that squealing? We're just going to get on to him over it. See, that's just enough bump. Say, hey, I don't want to hear that. Shut it up. And that'll get more harder as he progresses. Same thing with your kids. You got to correct them. Little spat on the hand, don't do that. Little spat on the hiney, don't do that. You know? And as that same problem occurs, that same correction will get stiffer and stiffer until that child or this horse figures out, don't do that no more, right? Same deal. Scripture says, to whom the Father loveth, he chasteneth him oftentimes. So me being a typical old simple-minded country boy, I had to look that up in the dictionary. Chasteneth him oftentimes. That means he kind of spanks him quite regular. There, we went over that limb that time and it didn't bother him a bit. See that? So, does not mean that he just takes the rod and beats this child silly. It means that he'll swat him a time or two and make him straighten up, and if that don't get it, he just gets stiffer and stiffer as need be to make that kid behave himself, right? It's the same thing with these horses. And then at no time does the father ever let on that he doesn't love him. Father still goes back and gives him a hug, reaches over and kisses him, you know, loving on him, teaching that child, hey, I'm daddy, I still love you, but you're going to mind me and you're going to respect me. Just like with this colt, I'll come back and I'll pet him, let him know I still love him. Hey, I'm still the boss, you're still going to respect me. I love the way this colt's trying to turn around. Good boy. some of my buddies that been training with me for a long time be say, I had to get a martingale on him. And yes, sir, you gentlemen that are seeing that are exactly right. His martingale's coming. But I want to make sure that I got everything else before I get worried about a headset, if that makes sense. And again, that's just the way I do it. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. That's just what works for me. I think we can all agree that old Big Stitch's first ride is going pretty good so far. I'm pretty proud of that. Now, we did work old Big Stitch up there in the pen. We drove him, worked him, got him stopping, turning, handling. Now we're riding him outside, kind of give him his head, kind of trust him a little. Again, as he earns trust, as he earns it, we give it to him. It's the same thing with us and him. We have to earn his trust. He has to earn ours. And there again, there comes a time that if you don't trust your horse, how do you expect your horse to consistently keep trusting you? Right? It's a give and take. Now he's wanting to look at that. Nope. Get up here. There you go. There's that little junk again. We're going to get his attention. Hey, we don't want to hear that. Right? We don't want to hear that. We want your mind on us, not on everything else that's going on. Right? Man. Good boy. Good boy. Ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So we start taking care of that now, it never begins to get out of hand. If it never gets out of hand and gets fixed before it ever gets started, we've stopped that. Oh, there's my buddies, I got to go run, chase them down. We've kept a horse right there to where he says, hey, I'm with you, dude. What are we doing today? And that's what we want. We want a partner that says, hey, I'm here with you. What are we doing today? Okay, now we're going to turn him around right here. Bump. Look at that kid. Look at that baby turn over himself. Wasn't that pretty? Right up here. We're going to bump, turn over himself. We're going to bump, turn over, bump, bump. There. And then we're going to ride right back off. Good boy. Good boy. Get up here, son. Good boy. Oh. I think we can all agree that old Big Stitch's ride, first ride outside, is going pretty good. Now we're going to turn him right here. Turn him over himself. No, he didn't do it. He kind of shafted us there, didn't he? We'll bump that front end, turn it. No, we're going to bump that front end, turn him over himself. There. That's what we wanted right there. And when he give it to us, we ride him out. Right? He give us what we wanted, ride him out. Bump, bump, there, ride him out. And whoa, whoa, Stitch, and Stitch back up. Look at that colt back up. I'd say that's pretty doggone good. Now, good boy. Well, there you are, guys. That's Stitch's first ride outside. We're gonna go ahead and shut this off and ride him a little bit more. We'll see you guys in the next video, and give us a like and subscribe if you like what you see. Give us a follow, and thank you in advance. If you got any questions, feel free to ask. We will respond and we will reply. Again, thank you guys. Stay tuned for the rest of Big Stitch's training. I think it's going to be good.